For many years, I lived on a narrowboat. It was an amazing time to be so very close to water, to nature. I chose to live on a narrowboat because I was scared of water and I wanted to challenge that. I wanted to overcome it. And I did. And one of the hardest things to overcome was actually being on this 62-foot long, flat-bottomed tunnel on a raging river. And I was scared of water. But fortunately, I managed to sort myself out and not flood or sink my boat. And so it told me about how you manage difficult things when life is going so fast and you feel completely out of control. That there are ways to do it. And in terms of being on a raging river, in my narrowboat, what I did was very gently turned my tiller, which is the thing that you move around to alter the rudder, and I turned it so that it very gently went into an angle. And then I brought it round with my tiller very gently, bearing in mind the river was taking me very far and very fast. And I pulled her around. And when I was at a 90-degree angle to the river, that was when it was at its most dangerous, because it could easily have tipped me. It was so powerful, that river. So I very gently brought it back and then brought it back up the river. And then I had control of it. And you know, life's like that, isn't it? Sometimes it just goes wild. And certainly for me, it went wild when my father died, then my mother died, my daughter went to university, and then my best friend died. And this within the space of a year. That was my raging river. And it had a huge impact on me. The reason it had an impact, similar to Zoe's story, is the fact that I was the strong one, I was the organizer, and I never really had time to grieve. And then I thought about my boat. When I had her built, one of the things you have to do is balance the ballast. Everything in a boat is ballast. And so therefore, whatever it was, if I moved it, or it disappeared, or whatever, I changed it, redesigned it internally, then I would have to make sure that the boat was balanced. And life's a bit like that in loss, isn't it? The moment you take somebody or something important out of your life, the familiarity of everything, the stability of everything is gone. And what you have to do in a boat is move things around so you counterbalance the loss. So if you've got something lost on this side of the boat, you have to then lose it on there or add something new to it. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross talked a lot about grief and talked about the grieving process. We've often seen that as a linear experience, but the truth about grief is that if you're like me and you didn't, and like Zoe, and you didn't actually process it at the time, it will come out in different ways. And we will experience grief physically, usually with a physical ailment. But when you are grieving, and when you understand grief, you need to do it in your way. However it works, however long it takes, there are no rules. And yes, you might go through different phases of feeling guilty about it, blaming people, being angry. But one of the most important things is that you actually sit with it. And to follow on from my story, after my parents and my family died, I did reinvent my life and I did fill it again. I brought the ballast back in. But I still didn't process my grief. And I think I brought it all to a head when I lost my dog, my heart dog, my amazing boy, who was the most difficult dog in the world, really, really hard dog. And when he died, all the grief that I'd not dealt with came out through him. But once again, old patterns die hard, don't they? The moment he died, it was like he released us and we moved house. We moved into a different county. I ended up being crazy busy in work again, and I never processed my grief again. You'll recognise that, won't you? So what I had to do, and I think it was probably about 4 years later, I really managed to do that, which was last year actually. I actually did bring more ballast in. I bought another dog in. I've never been without a dog since I was a very small child. So I bought another dog in who was lovely, but she couldn't fill the hole in my heart. That ballast never quite balanced again. I had to sit with myself. I gave myself permission. I looked at photographs. I had a conversation with my boy. I talked to him. And I processed my grief and I cried until I was spent. And then, and only then, could all the love that we'd shared actually reside in me without it destabilizing me. And then I truly bonded with my lovely Oreo. So grieving is a process, and we mustn't ever judge each other or ourselves about how long that process takes, how it happens, but we must give ourselves time to heal. And meditation's a really good place to do that. And that is just about getting into your breath, stilling your mind, and being at peace. So if you recognize that you're holding on to some grief that you never really processed, and you need some support, throughout this week, you're going to have loads of different people. Whoever just connects with you in your heart, get in touch with them. You will know what person on this course will resonate with you this week. And thank you so much for listening. And I wish you a peaceful time and a peaceful healing in your grieving process. Thank you.